Jeremiah with Dyson Doobies again. Zay, the voice of Reyna, is going to be the interviewee today. And yesterday we were talking about, we had touched on some subjects. One of them was the importance of Anomaly Corp, what Anomaly Corp does for the survival guide, and the Discord. And I'd like to get in a little bit more on what the Discord is. Excuse me. And how you, as a playtester, have gotten to interact with it. Tell me the parts you like, the parts you don't like. And just kind of let me know how it's felt going from what one might consider a more traditional setting of D&D, your dice, your paper, your pen, your pencil, 5 people around a table, to everyone meeting up on voice chat and a lot of your interaction happening in that text-based format. So, I guess we'll start. I'll hammer home one point. What's the difference between pen and paper and us actually moving in that digital format? Is there much? Did you find some abrasion in doing that?
As far as abrasion or like difficulties, anything like that, it was fairly simple. It took some time to fully transfer everything you had on your papers from analog to digital. Once the majority of the party moved to the digital storing of information, it was really smooth. Using the Discord to roll dice is way more efficient, and it allows Dungeons and Dragons as a concept to be more accessible to more people. You know, you don't have to spend $15, $30 on an adequate set of dice.
No, some people still do use their home dice, and I guess that goes by the referee, right? It's really what that referee's allowing, but some people do use their home dice when they play, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the different planets that you're able to go to in game, those are all represented by different channels. Is that right?
I would refer to them as nodes on Star Chart.
Okay. And how many of you guys hit so far in play?
Ooh, in play, I'd say about 8 so far. We've spent a majority of time on 4 or 5, but we visited 8 in total.
Okay. So you started with Warlock, right?
Yeah.
Tell me some of the experience you've had learning a 3.5 class, and then learning some of the unique stuff that exists in the Freebooters guide.
So as far as OG 3.5 Warlock goes, as a player, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to magic. I didn't feel like dealing with spell points and dealing with all the different schools of magic and material components. I didn't feel like dealing with all that, and I did my homework. I started reading up on Warlock, and it was really interesting because it's this, you get to essentially build your kit that you have, and it's much more disposable to you than wizards or sorcerers at a lower level. You still have something, no matter what your gear looks like, no matter what your level is, you always have something you can rely on, no matter what.
Eldritch Blast is what I assume you're from.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Eldritch Blast. It is the bread and butter of that class, and it only makes sense as to why.
Seven life.
Well, I mean, Scions are good too. You can do a lot of interesting things with Scion.
Yeah, you know, like create my own plane of existence.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like Warlocks to a certain extent. I played one with my founder, Toon, one of the original people who helped found and create Xenosia. He was a Warlock, actually. Warlock Scion, I think, is what I ended up playing him as.
There you have it.
So what is some stuff you've done that was more Freebooters unique?
I started to develop a line of symbiotic exosuits.
Explain what you mean. What do you mean, symbiotic exosuits? Expand on that.
So you know the mimic creature. Everyone knows the classic mimic, the monster.
Open the chest, get your face eaten.
So I decided
get your, Uncle Bad Touch.
You know,
the treasure pile.
Having the worst time. You thought you were going to get some loot. Now you're half dead. So what I essentially ended up doing was I took the DNA from them
Hold on. Just for a second, imagine a mimic that decided to disguise itself as toilet paper and enjoy that horror
Oh no!
for the rest of the time. I want everybody to enjoy that. Just let that one marinate. While
you go for a dry wipe and all this.
It's moist and moving.
Like it. What I essentially ended up doing was I took the DNA from some fully grown mimics. I grew that in a tube in the laboratory, in the research and development laboratory. Wonderful things happened in that facility.
How much? So did you build the laboratory, or did you guys find it?
That's classified.
Oh, right, there you go. Good answer. Good answer. Needless to say, it did happen it was an in-game decision. That wasn't something that the DM laid out. That was something you guys had to create or fund yourself, correct?
Yes.
All right,
It was
cool.
a natural event.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I can say to the general public. But what I ended up doing was using this facility amongst, the other members of the company, the All-Mother, May.
That'd be me, by the way. The All-Mother's me over here.
Tech support.
I sign everyone's paychecks.
In this facility, their DNA developed, and I started to use my Warlock invocation, Word of Changing. A lot of people may know that. And I used that
Explain
to
Word of Changing a bit for the people who don't.
Word of Changing is a Warlock invocation that, if my memory serves, you utter scales to baleful polymorph, if I remember correctly. You use words with magic invocation, and that will allow you to change the shape or form of any creature or object. Now they have to make 2 will saves, and if they don't make those will saves, they are forever stuck in that form. I use this on the mimics to turn them into a wearable suit of armor. A lot of other people have talked about the idea of mimic armor being something that lives on its own. This is similar, but in order for it to maintain a level of peace and balance and not...
So this is not something that's meant to be like a twisted horror.
They are not meant to be out in the wild. They're not meant to be running.
No, it's more like your dogs.
Yeah.
So it would almost be I don't want to say house pet. That feels like incorrect.
Not necessarily
But
a house
it's
pet.
another creature that lives at your house.
Yeah.
Feel some kinship or bond.
Yeah. Whenever they're freshly detached, they can walk around for a little bit before they have to just stand still and rest. But they're wearable suits of armor. They have a pseudo level of intelligence, and they essentially bind to their host, because they're referred to as a guest, and amp their wearer. They yearn to experience living. They can't move on their own. That's why they're not out in the wilderness. They can't move very far on their own. That's why they welcome other people, bonding with them on a nervous system level. It's a very deep connection. But yeah, they yearn to experience living. They yearn to see what's out there because they understand that they're also alive.